In this video, we are going to go through the volume footprint, how it changed me to a profitable trader and could change you to a profitable trader too. Now, I'm going to spend maybe 10-15 minutes going through the volume footprint, and I promise by the end of the video, you will understand how to use it. If you've got any questions, please ask in the comments below. Now, before we do get started on this, I'm going to switch to this is what 90% of people use. Flat, naked candle chart. And the 90% of people that use this are probably the 90% of people that fail. And the 5-10% of people that are profitable at trading are using other tools, not necessarily the volume footprint. They may be using a session volume profile, a TPO time price opportunity, a level 2. There could be a number of different tools they are using, but they are seeing more information than the typical MetaTrader or TradingView or CTrader naked chart shows you. You need to break down the actual candle, and the candle is just a very little bit of information. What we're going to see today is more information on how that candle was actually printed, and this will help you make an informed decision. And we will go through some examples today on trades that we took or trades that we never took because of the profile. So let's get started. So here on your TradingView, up here where you've got your candles, if you select the volume footprint here, if you do not have this feature, you are probably on a free version or a basic version of TradingView. You need the premium version. It is only £50 a month, and if you are serious about trading, this is basically one trade. Okay, that's the way you need to look at this. If you're not willing to invest £50 a month to get the tools you need to give you the best chance at being a successful trader, I have a link below, and you can download any one of these packages at the link below. I'll pin that in the comments and put it in the description. If you're not quite ready, which is understandable, watch this video first and I'll show you the power of having this premium package. It's not just what I'm going to show you here. I have probably at any one time over 40 alerts set up. You can't have that on a lesser subscription. I've also got all these kind of, you see these little symbols here showing me a low shadow or a bearish engulfing candle, or just different patterns that I like. They're all here. On lesser versions you can only put on a couple of indicators. But the best feature is this that I'm about to show you today, and of course the split screen where you can put, this is how I trade day to day using 6 screens so I can see all the majors. So let's get into the volume footprint here. So the volume footprint, when it's first set up, it looks like this. Now we'll just zoom in. So if we look at this red bearish candle here, we can see the candle is in the middle, and to the left of the candle is volume of sellers, and to the right of the candle is volume of buyers. So here we can see 1.53k sellers, 1.32 buyers, and that was just at this area. And as you can see below it, we had 2.79 and 2.65. Now the deeper the red, the more sellers were in control. The deeper the green, the more buying there is. And the yellow box is very important. This is basically your point of control. This, as you can see, this is where the most trades took place. So this was 4.23 sellers and 4.19 buyers. Okay, so this is very important, this yellow box. This is basically where the most volume was traded, the point of control we call it. So if you just remember, red, light red is, yep, sellers were in control, but not by much. And then the red gets darker and it almost goes this claret colour for the most strong selling. As for green, light green, green to this very dark coloured green. So this is very messy on the charts. You can see below it you have your delta and your total volume. So we'll talk about delta now because this is very important. The delta is the difference between, in this case, you had 673 more sellers than buyers. So you had 12.18k sellers, 11.15 buyers. That gives you a delta of minus 673. Now if we right click on our canvas and go to settings and go to symbol, this here is all the settings for your footprint. So we are going to change only one thing. Down here at type where it says buy and sell, this is basically the left hand and right hand column, buyers and sellers. We are going to change this to delta and then we'll click OK. Now what you can see is you've just got one column. It's much easier to understand. You can see here that we've got 25 more buyers here, minus 41 sellers in control, minus 210 sellers in control, and this yellow box now has a negative or a positive, so you can see here it's minus 34. So this tells you the minus, this was basically the number of sellers that were in control over the buyers, and although this number here is bigger, minus 133, this yellow box still remains because this number minus 133 could have been because you had 200 buyers and 333 sellers, leaves a delta of basically minus 133. This is lower because this could have been 20,000 buyers and 20,034 sellers. That's why it's such a low delta. But the yellow box tells you that the most volume was traded here. And if you come over here, you can see this delta is a positive. It's got no minus. So the buyers were in control, 255. So if we just pick a candle, let's pick this last candle here. You can see here we had 551 sellers and only 462 buyers. Okay, so if we just right click and go to settings and change this to the delta, you can see here it's minus 88. Okay, so again we go back to buy and sell. So you've got basically 88 more sellers than you have buyers. And then when you click delta, it just puts a minus 88. And again, what we were discussing just a moment ago, you can see here, this is where the most traded volume was, okay? And when you click on delta, it's actually a lower number than this. It's only 15. And the reason for that is because there was just almost equal amount of buyers and sellers. So we are going to set it up just on delta. It's very easy to see who's in control and by how much they are in control. So now let's look at some examples of this. So as you can see, we're on NAS, we're on just the normal candle chart pattern here, and you can see here that we've got a previous support zone that's gone back. It's a 1 hour time frame, and we can see we've bounced off it here, we've entered here, we've entered here, and we've entered here. So let's look at the volume profile, the volume footprint, sorry, and see why we entered. So if we zoom in to this zone, Remember, the candle is telling us very little information, but here on the volume footprint using the delta, we can see that we come into the support zone, and then here at this zone we had a very strong momentum. We had delta of 210.90 and then it jumped up to 1.8k. That's an entry, okay? Because if you look before here, there's no deltas of 1,000, okay? It's all in the hundreds or even less. So this tells us we're going to have a big push up, and we put our stop loss just below this support zone. And you can monitor your trade as it's going up. You can monitor the delta as it's going up, and you can see it's strong. The most traded volume here, the delta was 1.18k, 1.19755. So as you can see already, it's giving you an indication. Usually we would wait in the candle closing and stuff like that up here, whereas you're blind. It's not giving you any information that the delta is providing in the volume footprint. As you can see here, the previous candle was a strong momentum candle, and then buyers stepped in, and then the volume came through here on the buyers. You can see here there was 8.17, and it's just continued up. So if we come to this zone here, we've reached again the support, previous support, and we've came through it with strong numbers. This is stuff that you don't see on a normal candle. This could be green because it's basically could have a delta of only 2 or less than 100. You don't see this information. So the delta's telling you that not only is this coming through support, it's coming through with strong momentum and volume. And if you actually zoom out, you can still see your delta totals for this candle actually traded, what was the buyers and what was the sellers. So if we come on, we'll look at our pattern now. Again, the link is below in the description for this TradingView platform if you don't already have it. And if you don't know delta or it's confusing, honestly, it's tripped me up a few times. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. I do respond to most questions. So as we can see here again, broke through here strong dark green at 1.1k. And you can just follow your trade right through looking at the volume footprint. So let's go to the patterns here. So here we've got a triple top as well. And it could give you just as much an indication not to enter as it does to enter. If you break through support with weak numbers, you don't enter the trade, and then it reverses, then that's gave you good information not to take the trade. And again, this price here is, really nothing. If you're serious about trading, why would you not invest $50 a month? So if you are leaving a comment or any questions below, I'd be very interested to see where you are in the world. It always fascinates me to see where people are watching my content from. So if we come over here, again we see an entry because the 386, this was the most traded point of control, and then we came through with strong dark green here and the momentum continued. So this is just one tool I use. I've actually got my trading strategy, and this is just one tool I use. If you would like me to make another video on my full strategy, including using this tool, but where I use it and what else I look out for, how I enter and take profit, and where I put my stop loss, where I exit, all that good stuff, leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to make a detailed video on that. If you've received any any good information here, please like and subscribe to grow this channel, and I'll be happy to make more videos. But yeah, that is basically the volume footprint. So there is other options here in premium that I'll go over just quickly. So you get different options here. So you get the volume footprint, that is what we've just went through today. You get TPO. Now TPO is more advanced. So if you can imagine, you've got volume candles up here. This gives you a little bit of information. It's just very basic. We'll click on it. You can see here it actually makes strong candles a little bit thicker. So if you notice this candle here, it is much thicker than likes of these candles here. So it tells you there was lots of selling volume here. So it's giving you more information than a general chart would, but limited information. So this is a good starting point. Then you would move on to your volume footprint. That is what we've just discussed today. And then the more advanced one is the TPO. So the TPO is basically, I'll not go into it too much, it's basically an alphabet, and it tells you, so for example, this one candle here is a 1 hour candle, and it tells you whatever you set your settings to. So if we go into the settings, let's say we have 30 minutes set and 1 day set. So we would go to our daily candle. What this is going to do, it actually takes a few seconds just to process everything onto your charts. So what the TPO is going to do is it will basically, this is a day, this full candle is a day here, okay? And if you can imagine the alphabet, so the first 30 minutes of the day, that is A. The second 30 minutes of the day is B. Next 30 minutes is C, and so on. So it basically gives you an alphabet and tells you where, you know, here you can see A and B. So a lot of sellers were in control here in the first 30 minutes. Here you've got your point of control. Value area high, value area low. So again, it's kind of more detailed, but I don't use it personally. I know how to use it, but I think it's just too much information overload. And I think the sweet spot is the volume footprint. It just gives you one candle there. And again, just to go through the settings of this, we go to settings, and in your symbol, this is basically your volume footprint. The only thing I change is by default it's on buy and sell, and I change it to delta. And all it shows you is green. Sellers were in control by 3,000 buyers more than sellers. And as you can see here, we've got some big numbers. There was 30,000 more sellers in this area. And as you can see, the next day was a bearish day. So that is the volume footprint. This is something that really helped me become profitable, because when I would get to, let's call it a level of interest, some people call it a point of interest, that could be support, resistance, it could be double tops, double bottoms, it could be anything. But when you're at that area on your charts, and you're ready to take an entry because you're in that area and you've maybe seen an engulfing candle or whatever, this volume footprint will give you more information, and it will make you, it's an added confluence, it will make you take the trade with confidence, or you'll see something in the volume footprint delta that tells you that you do not want to take this trade because the opposite, the sellers are starting to come into the market, or you just don't like the look of the numbers that you're seeing. So you don't take the trade, and it ends up saving you from taking a loss. So again guys, if you would like me to make a video on my strategy, this is just one tool that I use. I actually trade mean reversion and have been for many years, and this is just one tool that has really helped me with my trading. So if you would like to see please do all the stuff like subscribe. Share this video as well to your fellow traders who you think may be interested in the volume footprint. Until the next time, stay safe.